Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the video of the Roshank Redemption, and today I'm super excited to be bringing you guys the start of a brand new series on my channel pertaining to Tokyo Ghoul that I'm going to be calling Tokyo Ghoul Theories and Lore. And as I'm sure you guys have already guessed from the title of this series is going to be all about me discussing various bits of lore from Tokyo Ghoul that you guys might not have known, or recapping some of my favorite moments for this series, or just discussing some interesting theories that are floating around out there. Just to clarify, these theories will not always be mine. Sometimes they will be mine, but they won't always be mine. I'm just going to pull some interesting theories that I found out there on the internet and discuss them and just give my general thoughts on them. This episode in particular is actually going to be more of a pilot episode or a sort of prologue to the series, so there isn't going to be any insanely mind-blowing stuff in here, but there are a couple of things that I want to discuss, which I will get to at the end of the video after I take care of all this purpose stuff and schedule and just stuff of that nature. And speaking of schedule, I want to upload these around once a week, but no promise on that, just because I obviously need to focus on, getting the analysis and the live reaction, the review for the weekly chapter that comes out before this, and also I have some other stuff to prioritize. So I apologize if this isn't out every week. Like next week, for instance, I for sure won't be able to get out a video just because I'm busy with finals and all. So I apologize for that, guys. But in general, I want to make this a once a week type of thing. And pretty much every episode is going to fall into one of three categories. The first category is obviously a lore category, where I just discuss previous moments from the series that I enjoyed or bits of trivia from Tokyo Ghoul. The second category is a theory crafting video, where I just discuss theories. And the third type of video is going to be a combination of both. And then finally here, I want to discuss chapter 55 of Tokyo Ghoul Ray just for a second, because I said in my live reaction and analysis that I will put up a full, more in-depth analysis later this week, but I went and reread the chapter, I did some research, and it really felt like there isn't really much else to talk about in the chapter. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a great chapter, it just wasn't really all that complicated, so no analysis video this week, sorry about that, guys. In the future though, if we do get some complicated chapters, I will be sure to get that up, and I will be sure to provide a full in-depth analysis and review. Well, alright, let's go ahead and finally get into the main topic of this video. What I wanted to discuss this time around is I wanted to bring up two theories pertaining to two specific characters from the Tokyo Ghoul verse and their relation to the clowns. And the first of these characters is actually Kaneki. So, for those of you who haven't seen it yet, recently I released a video detailing a theory that I had that Kaneki would potentially join the clowns after this arc. And recently we actually got some more evidence that supports this theory, and this evidence is in the form of Tokyo Ghoul trump cards. Now, for those of you who are unaware of what Tokyo Ghoul trump cards are, basically they're a set of very cool and very rare playing cards of sorts, I guess you could say, where you have certain characters from Tokyo Ghoul associated with specific cards from a playing card deck. So you have like one character associated with a King of Hearts, for instance, another character associated with the Ace of Spades, and just, stuff of that nature. But what's interesting about these trump cards is that recently we had a Joker card released with none other than Kaneki's face on it. And also in the card he had green hair, which I'm not really sure what exactly that means. I feel like Ishida's sort of trying to convey some sort of metaphorical message that is just totally going over my head, because Ishida loves playing with hair in Tokyo Ghoul. But anyways, nonetheless, the fact that Kaneki is on a Joker card, I feel like definitely supports my theory that Kaneki is going to join the clowns. It definitely doesn't confirm it to any extent. I'm not saying this theory is definitely going to happen or anything like that, but I feel like it supports it, because Kaneki's face would not be on the Joker card without some sort of reason for it. Next, another Joker card was released with Nimura Furuta's face on it. Nimura Furuta is an investigator of the CCG, for those of you who are unaware. But anyways, the reason why this is important is that we've known for a very long time that there is a mole in the clowns, or excuse me, a mole in the CCG who is working for the clowns. And recently we had some very strange occurrences happen with Furuta in Tokyo Ghoul Ray. First, he took down Matsume way too easily for a human. There's no way he should have been able to take down that strong a ghoul so easily. And secondly, he used one of his comrades as a meat shield, and then he went and killed another one of his comrades in cold blood and was laughing like an insane man after it. He also addressed Tsukiyama as Mr. MM in a previous chapter, which is Tsukiyama's old alias back from the Ghoul restaurant, and there's no possible way that a normal human investigator could possibly have known what Tsukiyama's alias was from back then. The only way he could have gotten that is either from a ghoul or if he's a ghoul himself. And in fact, the injuries that he inflicted on his fellow comrades when he killed them were so strong and so devastating that other investigators concluded that it had to be the work of a ghoul. So because of all this, there's actually a very popular theory floating around that Furuta is not only a ghoul but also a member of the clowns known as Souta. And Souta is actually the person who dropped the steel beams on Kaneki and Rize way back at the beginning of part 1. So Souta is basically responsible, at least somewhat, for all of the bad stuff that's happened to Kaneki. But anyways, the point I'm trying to make is the fact that Furuta is a Joker in this deck definitely supports the idea that he's part of the clowns, and if it doesn't confirm it, it comes very close to truly confirming that Furuta is indeed Souta from the clowns. And then also, one more thing I should mention, which I personally don't believe this, by the way, but the theory does have some merit to it, so it's definitely worth mentioning. But there are theories that Furuta is either a half ghoul or is fully human, because he had to do something to bypass the ghoul scanners at the CCG, and we've seen Takatsuki-sen bypass the ghoul scanners at the CCG, and she is half human. So perhaps if Furuta is half human, that is how he bypassed the scanners. But I personally believe that he just had some sort of trick up his sleeve to bypass it, and that he is a full ghoul. At the very least, the half-ghoul theory is definitely plausible, but him being fully human is just not something I can see because the clowns seem to be an exclusively ghoul organization now, but I definitely could be wrong about that. Well, alright guys, that is pretty much going to do it for this episode of Tokyo Ghoul Theories and Lore. As always, if you enjoyed, be sure to drop me a like down below and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already for more Tokyo Ghoul content in the future. The comment question of the day is, what do you guys think of the two theories that I discussed in this video? Me personally, I definitely think that the Kaneki one, despite me making the theory, is a bit of a stretch and I wouldn't at all be surprised if it weren't true. But the Furuta one, the Furuta being Souta theory, I feel like it's basically true at this point. And I would honestly be shocked if it weren't true. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what your thoughts are, and I will see you all in my next video.